Hello everyone, it's ZMAHOON. I want to ask you a question today. Do you ever feel like you're like a wind-up toy? You know, those cute little wind-up toys, you wind them up, you set them down, and they go round and round in circles, and then they run out of energy and they stop. Many years ago, that's how I used to feel. That was before I started my journey with meditation and the law of attraction. I mean, the law of attraction is always working, whether we know it or not. But if we can arrive at a place in our journey where we start consciously, deliberately using the law of attraction to live the life that we want to live, that's a whole different playing field. And that's what I want to talk to you about. If you don't have meditation as part of your day-to-day practice, your day-to-day life, then it's time for you to start exploring what meditation really is, what it does for you, and how to practice it. Some time ago, I wrote a book called Peace Within. And you can find this little book. It's not a very big book. It's a really small, easy read book. You could probably sit down and read it in an hour or so on Amazon. But what I want to do just now is to give you the basic tools that are contained in this book. So first of all, why is meditation important? Meditation is important because it helps us to gain control over our thinking process. Do you ever feel as if your thoughts are on autopilot? Do you ever feel as if you don't know where your thoughts are coming from? Do you ever kind of wake up in the middle of doing something and say, oh, how did I get here? If you answered yes, then you're probably like I was many years ago, because that's how I used to be. I had no idea where my thoughts were going. I was constantly thinking. And scientific research actually has proven that we have the ability to think a complete thought in our heads anywhere between 4 to 10 seconds, depending on the complexity of the subject that we are contemplating. So you can imagine that thoughts are zooming through our head at a very fast pace. What meditation does is it slows that down. And that is really, really important. Because think about it. If you were talking to someone who speaks really, really fast, you wouldn't be able to get a word in, right? Have you ever tried doing that? You just kind of give up. So when we're that busy in our heads, even though the universe, source, that which we call God, is always trying to speak with us, to be heard, to help guide us towards things that are good for us, we're not listening because we're too busy talking. Another way to say that is, and a lot of people have said that, is that if you're talking, if your mouth is open, your ears are closed, right? Because when you're talking, you're not listening. And that's what is happening in our heads all the time. We're talking and we're not listening. So the guidance that is coming to us cannot be heard by us. And that guidance, if you start hearing it, will help you make better decisions, because now you're being guided by the wider perspective. So our decision making improves as a result of meditation. We become more conscious because of meditation. We become more conscious of the way we are thinking our thoughts, because we start becoming aware of our thoughts wandering. You know that proverb that says, when you get on a train of thought and that train keeps going? Well, a lot of times we get on a train of thought, that train leaves the station and never comes back. We kind of lose control. And that's because thoughts attract each other. So we tend to attract thoughts that are similar in nature. If you start thinking about, let's say you start thinking about a holiday. You've already got it booked. Now, if you start thinking about it, you're going to start thinking, when am I leaving? What am I taking with me? I wonder what the place I'm going to stay at is like. What's my journey there going to be like? How long am I going to be in flight? All sorts of things. What do I need to take care of before I leave, right? So it's a train of thought. Pretty much you get so involved so quickly that you don't realize that you've left. Your body is here, but you're somewhere else. Meditation helps us regain that control. So that's why we want to meditate. We want to meditate because it gives us clarity of thought. It gives us control over our thought process. It slows down our thought process so that we can hear our guidance. Now, what is meditation? It's really difficult to explain what meditation is because it's something that we feel inside. And so to be able to find the words to explain to people where it is that I go when I'm in meditation is not the easiest thing. But over the years, I've been teaching meditation since 2013, formally at the Oshawa Public Library. I hold a free meditation session every Tuesday night, and it runs throughout the year. We only take a 2-week break for Christmas, but so I pretty much teach meditation every week. This is how I explain it in my meditation group. Meditation is the space between our thoughts. That tiny space between two thoughts is where we go when we meditate. We go deep within, we stay as long as we can, and we come back up. So that's what meditation is. It's the space between our thoughts. Now, the thing is, how do you get into that space? First of all, when you get into that space, it seems like a very long time, even though it is maybe a couple of seconds, maybe a couple of minutes, but it seems like a very long time. When you're in there, it feels like eternity. And you never know how you slip in there. You don't do it consciously, it just kind of happens. Here's how you know that you were there. You know that you were there when you're coming out. Because as you come out of that deep space between your thoughts, you start feeling the world again. During meditation, what happens is we withdraw our 5 senses, we withdraw them from the world, and we focus them inwards. And as we come out of meditation, we start focusing on the world outside us again, using our 5 senses. So we start hearing, we start feeling sensations of light, sound. And when we are in that space of meditation, we don't have any of that sensation filtering going on. Make sense? So you'll always know when you're coming out. And one of the myths I want to dispel for you, because I had this myth, well, 2 myths. One myth was you go into meditation and you should stay there all along, come out after whatever time you assign. That's not true. You go into meditation, into that space between your thoughts, you stay as long as you can, then you come out. And when you come out, you realize that you're coming out, but it felt so good when you were there, you want to go back. So you start that whole process again of going in there. So that's myth number 1. Myth number 2 is that I need to turn my thoughts off. We don't need to push against our thoughts. We don't need to turn our heads off. You can't really tell your brain to shut down. It's the same as telling your heart to stop pumping blood. It's not going to happen because those organs are just doing their job. As long as we are alive, we are going to think. Our brain is going to do its job. So it's not about shutting down thought or having to push thought away. In fact, the more you push thought away, tell it to go away, the more it comes back. What meditation is all about is substituting your autopilot thinking with deliberate thinking. And that deliberate thinking has to be unemotional, because if you start thinking about something that's emotional to you, you're going to get on that train of thought and the train's going to leave the station and never come back. So you need to pick a subject that's unemotional. That's why a lot of teachers will ask you to focus on your breath. Because how many of us get excited about breathing? We don't jump up and down rejoicing, oh my God, I'm breathing, I'm breathing. We don't do that, right? We just breathe. It's natural. So focusing on the sound of your breath is natural and it is unemotional, and therefore it is a good thought anchor. So that's what I call this unemotional thought that we use in order to stay centered in our meditation. I call it a thought anchor. It's like anchoring a boat. Just like a boat does not float away with the waves because you have it anchored. In the same way, when we use a thought anchor, we center ourselves in our meditation and we don't float away with our thoughts. So a thought anchor is a simple, small thought, something that you can focus on without getting excited. For a lot of people, it's the sound of their breath. For Esther Hicks, it's the sound of the air conditioning. For myself personally, I like to do both. I'm a multitasker by nature, and so I need to involve more than just one thing. So I like to repeat words. I repeat the words, breathe in love, breathe out appreciation. And I also listen to the sound of my breath. So that's what I do. A lot of people use mantras. Gibberish is a good one to use. Just pick whatever words you make up. When I learned to meditate from Deepak Chopra, I was given a mantra to repeat. It consists of 3 syllables that have absolutely no meaning, but they're a good way to center myself in meditation. I also really enjoy white noise. So the noise of rain. I have a rain app on my phone that I will listen to. It enables me to add a soft piano in the background with the sound of rain falling on a rooftop, and that's perfect for me because I focus on that sound. Focusing is thinking. And when I focus on that sound and I focus on my breath going in and out, I am able to find that space between each focus. So if I listen to the sound of the piano for long enough, I listen to the sound of the rain falling long enough, that is my thought anchor. So all you do is you close your eyes, make sure you're upright. There's no harm in going to sleep when you meditate, but the purpose of meditation is to do it consciously. When you go to sleep, you are no longer in conscious control. So sleeping is like getting on a train that leaves the station again and never comes back, or doesn't come back till next morning. Whereas in meditation, the whole purpose is to learn control. And if you remain awake, then you're actually teaching yourself control over your thought process. So that's why it's important. And there are a couple of other important things that I like to teach, and one of them is having intention. Having a goal or an intention is extremely important. So telling yourself when you sit down that you're sitting down for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes, no more than that is essential, with the purpose of going into meditation so that you can allow your guidance to flow freely and gain control over your thinking process. That is the perfect intention. And that tells your mind what you're going to do for the next 20 or 30 minutes. So now you actually are not working against your mind is working with you. Because really there's 2 parts of us. There's our logical thinking part, which resides here in our logic. And then there's this part of us, the non-physical part of us that we often call source. So in meditation, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this non-physical part to work with this logical part. That's the intention, okay? And when those 2 are perfectly aligned together, they're working together, that's when we are able to get the best results from our life. That's when we are able to find that place of joy and happiness and love. All right. So that's the one thing, having an intention. The other most important thing about meditation is not to have any rules. You see, when I first started learning how to meditate, which was, I don't even know, it was a very long time ago. I was still in university, and I was intrigued by meditation because people who meditated said that meditation improved their lives, and I wanted to improve my life. But there were so many different schools, and it was confusing who to follow, because one person taught it this way, another person taught it this way. And it took me a number of years to go to all these schools of thoughts, read all those books, listen to the talks, and bring it together for myself. And the way I've brought it together is there are no rules. What we're trying to achieve is in our head, so it doesn't matter what we're doing with our body. You can be sitting in any position that you want. One of the most important things about where you sit for your meditation is your comfort, your physical comfort, and your ability to remain focused. So the least number of distractions. And for me, that means going into my car. I meditate in my car because at home, I have 2 kids, 2 cats, and a dog. And at work, I'm surrounded by people all the time. So my oasis is my car. I go into my car to meditate. And because I have the white noise from the rain in the background, I don't really notice any of the distractions around me. I put my dark glasses on and plug in my earbuds with my rain app, and I'm gone. And it's only for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes, depending on the day. But I always manage to get meditation in most days of the week. There might be an odd day when I don't, but for most days of the week, I do. So that's my way of doing it. But if you have clear space at home, by all means, sit at home. The only thing is your physical comfort, because if your body is trying to attract your attention, it is much harder to go into meditation. Make the least amount of rules as you possibly can, because if you tell yourself, I have to sit in this position, I have to wear these clothes, I have to cover myself with this way, the temperature has to be this, I have to have this aroma going on, I have to have this stone in front of me or this rock next to me, then all of those are putting you in a box where when all those conditions are not satisfied, you can't meditate properly. So the less rules you have, the better off you are, because meditation is really just about your head. It has nothing to do with where your body is and what your body is doing. But your body's comfort is important, because if you're trying to itch, or if there's an itch trying to attract your attention and you don't go for it, you're not able to settle into your meditation. And so that's what I say. If there's something trying to attract your attention, don't push against it, because when you push against it, you make it harder for yourself to go into meditation. So if you have an itch, go for it. If you need to cough, do that. If you need to open your eyes, do that. There are no rules, because you can always go back. You can always find that space, that tiny little space, the space between your thoughts, and you can go deep within, stay long as possible, come back out, and go in again. So you can do it as many times as you like. The point about meditation is, do not judge how you did it, because all of meditation is beneficial. It's like if you eat an apple, you ate an apple, you got the goodness of apple. You consumed the goodness of an apple. Who cares if the apple was red or green or yellow? It doesn't matter. Who cares if it was big or small? It was an apple. And meditation is like that apple. It's just meditation. From wherever you are, it will give you the goodness of meditation. It would always help to improve your vibrations so that you get to that place, the higher place of love and joy. Another thing that's really important about meditation is to try and go in there from a higher place, because the higher you are on the emotional scale, the better you're feeling, So we start on the emotional scale over here. Right at the bottom is despair. And as we go up, there's blame and guilt and anger, revenge, frustration, worry, hope, eagerness, satisfaction, love, and joy. Right? So the higher up we are on the emotional scale, the more satisfying our meditation experience is. So if you were able to sit down and just take a few minutes to appreciate some of the things in your life, your meditation experience would be a lot more fulfilling. All right, so that's it. It's really simple. Clear up 15 minutes of your time. Try and do it every day, because if you do that, that creates a sort of momentum, like a swing. When you first start pushing a child on a swing, it takes energy to do that. But once the swing is going, all you need is a tap on the back. So once we get our meditation practice going, all we need is a few minutes every day to keep it going, to keep that momentum of receiving guidance and acting on that guidance. It takes only a few minutes to keep that momentum going. But if you let it go, then you have to start all over again. Make sense? So for more information on the way I teach meditation, grab a copy of the book, Peace Within, and enjoy, because meditation is really enjoyable. And if you were going to have one addiction in life, I would recommend meditation. Bye for now.